Hey Argos fans, Daniele Franceschi here with you again for the Argos Admirals. It's a big week in the CFL. The Argonauts are at home, finishing up a 3-game homestand, hosting the Winnipeg Bluebombers. The last team that they actually beat was the Bluebombers back in late September. So the Argos looking to get back on track against a team that they've had good success against so far this season. 2-0 against the Blue Bombers. And things that were prominent in that game late in September, the defense was phenomenal. 7 turnovers in that football game. Interceptions from the likes of Pat Watkins, as well as Ahmad Carroll. T.J. Williams, I believe, also had an interception in that football game. The Argonauts defense really clicked, showed that they could be dominant, and they're going to need another performance like that this weekend for sure. The defense has been great over the past few weeks. Unfortunately, obviously, the offense has suffered with the absence of Ricky Ray, but Argo fans, you can finally breathe a sigh of relief because he is back. That's right, Ricky Ray will be back in the Argonauts starting lineup tomorrow night at Rogers Center. Should be definitely a change in the offense, a change of scenery. Finally breathing some life into that offense. Chad Owens, look for him to be more involved, obviously. He dropped from first to fourth in the 3 starts that Jarius Jackson was at quarterback. Of course, he did pass the 3,000-yard mark in Jarius' first start in Winnipeg, but he's really struggled with Jarius at the helm. Jarius just doesn't seem to have a good rapport, get into a good rhythm with Chad Owens, but Ricky Ray is a different story. That's his go-to guy, and so definitely look for Chad to get more involved, get a lot more touches, and the Flying Hawaiian hopefully can get into the end zone this weekend and help the Argonauts get a victory. Now, looking at the CFL playoff picture and what this means for the Argonauts this weekend, well, 3 out of the 6 playoff spots in the CFL have been clinched, and those teams include the defending Grey Cup champion BC Lions, the Calgary Stampeders, and the Montreal Alouettes, who clinched last weekend against us, unfortunately. But what this means for the Argonauts, they are 2 games up on the Hamilton Tiger Cats. A win and a Hamilton loss will put the Hamilton Tiger Cats out of possibilities in order to get into second spot in the Eastern Division. Yet, that does not eliminate them from playoff contention, and the Argonauts still have to deal with the Edmonton Eskimos on the other side, who are also sitting at 7-8, an identical record as the Argonauts. As well, Edmonton has a season series against the Argos, so that also has playoff implications. So this is a huge game for the Argonauts. They really need to win 2 out of the last 3, or even all 3 of the games, which would be absolutely exceptional, considering that they're going to be big games and very meaningful games here late in the season. But it appears that the Argonauts are closing in on a playoff berth. Also in the news this week, as you guys may have heard, the Kissing Bandit, Adriano Belli, has found his way back to the Double Blue. We're very proud to have him back. Adriano Belli, it's not known of when he will play or if he will play or what his role will be, but he's here. He has practiced, and he's very excited to be back in the Double Blue. So hopefully we get to see him back in there. The Argos have lacked the pass rush, and anything can help. So if we get the old Adriano, obviously it's 10 times better than what it'll completely improve our pass rush. But even if we get half of that, it'll still improve it regardless. He's going to have an impact. He's here to win a Grey Cup. That's what he said. He wants to win with the hometown boys, and that's why he came back. Keys to the matchup. We're looking at 2 teams that have met. This will be the 3rd meeting, the final meeting of the season between these 2 football teams. Winnipeg, right now, having a season to forget, kind of. They were expected to have their new stadium, of course, earlier this year. Had to go on the road for the first 4 weeks of the season, including one of those losses was in Toronto. The Argos beating them both times, both at home and in Winnipeg. And this matchup will conclude their season series. The Argos, it would definitely help if the Argos could sweep the Blue Bombers, because the Blue Bombers technically are not fully eliminated from playoff contention. However, their hopes are pretty much diminished, and a loss tomorrow would officially eliminate them from playoff contention. Things to obviously focus on. Ricky Ray has dropped to the 6th leading passer in the Canadian Football League, and that is obviously understandable considering he's been out for 3 weeks, and the Argos just couldn't go for the 4th week without him. It was necessary for him to play this week for sure. The offense struggling, like we said. They will probably be without Chad Cackert again this week, unfortunately. Gerald Riggs will likely step in again, take the starting role, make his 3rd start of the season. Gerald Riggs has been decent, but the thing that with the Argonauts last week against Anthony Calvillo, and the Montreal Alouettes, they weren't able to establish a run game. They abandoned the run game in the second half when they were down, and it was a close game. If the Argonauts can really establish a run game, stay focused on that run game, establishing it, especially when they had Jarius in there last week, you have to have a balance. Jarius is not a guy that's going to drop back 30 times and be efficient, complete 25 or 30 passes. That's why Ricky Ray is also very so important to this offense. More so, when Chad Cacker's in there, there's a different element. It's a different feeling. You know this team, this offense can both run and pass successfully against any defense in the league, and that's the feeling you get when Chad Cacker's in there. But look for more screen passes. Look for Gerald Riggs to get opportunities out of the backfield. Last week we saw a little bit of Gerald Riggs in the screen game, especially with guys like Andre Drury, Chad Owens, and Gerald Riggs. This week I look for much of the same. Gerald Riggs is back in there. But it's obviously great to see Ricky Ray back in the lineup. Scott Milanovich confirming it today. That's certainly going to be a huge boost for the Argonauts. And for Winnipeg, they're coming in looking to just get some revenge. Last meeting between these two teams, Brandon Isaac was the one that knocked out Buck Pierce with what was called a late and illegal hit to the chin strap. He was concussed on the play. Also had a little bit of a jaw injury. But definitely they're coming in here with with a chip on their shoulder, looking to win, maybe even try to, put a late season push together to try and get into the playoffs. But it's definitely a big game for both teams. The Argonauts especially, who have struggled of late, dropping 4 of their last 5. This is a must-win game for them. A winnable game, a must-win. The Argonauts looking to get themselves into the playoffs, clinch a spot, and focus on getting that road to the Grey Cup. We're winding down this 2012 season. It's coming down. As you can see, though, I'm wearing the pink. I'm still rocking the pink as we come to the end of this Breast Cancer and Women's Cancers Awareness Month in October of 2012. As you can see, I appreciate the guys signing the shirt for me. So very much appreciated from them. It was. And last week we just wanted to also thank you guys. It was a great success. The CFL Pink game. We had a lot of fun, and we know you guys did a great job of representing all those women suffering from cancer, breast cancer, any form of cancer. So we thank you guys very much. And, of course, Friday night, first Friday night football game of the year, Wendy's Friday Night Football, TSN, 7 o'clock. We hope to see you at Rogers Center. We'll see you soon, Argos fans.